Alright, this is my 2009 Pontiac G8 GT. Just doing a walk around. It's right at 39,000 miles. It was 38 and some change. I do drive it a little bit just to keep, everything moving, the fluids and stuff circulating. So, some stuff I've done. VCM over the radiator intake. I did put new OEM iridium plugs and wires on it. Belts are good. They were replaced. They are new Dayco belts. They were replaced by the dealership that I got it from. Anki Ragin 19 by 8.5 plus 38 offset on all four. I do have the CTSV Brembo 4 pots up front with stainless steel lines. Also on the front I have new PPV Monroe shocks and springs, or shocks and struts rather. And then the springs are Eibach Pro Kit. They ride really well. It handles really well. It's a big improvement over the factory FE2 suspension. Also up front I have new Mevotech Pro control arms and radius arms that obviously include a new ball joint as well. So common failure on the G8s, the bushings and ball joints wear out, so I didn't want to mess around. And I replaced those. Very tight steering feel, feels great. With the VCM intake, I also have a Super Chips Cortex tuner that has the VCM over the radiator tune. The 93 octane tune tunes both the engine and the TCM, or the transmission controller, so runs great, shifts really well. As you can see, the interior's in virtually mint condition. No rips in the leather whatsoever. It's been very well taken care of. I use Meguiar's leather treatment on it. I've done that since new. A couple changes I did. The front plastic valance as well as the surround in the middle has 3M satin black vinyl wrap on it. So if I prefer the black over the silver, but if somebody wanted to remove it, it's super easy. It comes right off. It's not permanent by any means. Right at 39,121 miles. And go ahead and start it up. Airbag fault. Yeah, common issue with the G8s. It's never caused any problem, but it's very periodic. It pops up every once in a while. 99% of the people have the fix. There's a sensor that sits under the passenger seat. They replace that sensor and it goes away. It's popped up probably 10 times since I've owned it, but like I said, it's never caused an issue. It doesn't disable the airbag for driver or passenger or anything like that. It's just a periodic problem. All four new TPMS sensors. The tire pressure monitoring system. So I had those put on whenever I had the all four new Michelin Promisee all-season performance tires put on. So they handle great, especially in the wet. They do really well. For headlight bulbs, a lot of people do the HIDs. I opted not to, just because some of the extra heat that they create and load on the factory wiring system. I did opt for the Philips Extreme Vision crystal clear headlights and fog lights, and I can say that the light at night is fantastic. I'm really glad I didn't do HIDs. I can see very well. It's a huge upgrade over stock, and it wasn't that expensive. So about $100 in bulbs. It was a big upgrade. New rotors on all four. Did that when I did the brakes. So painted calipers with ceramic paint to match the Raybestos Gen 4 rotors on all four. They do great. They stop really well. There are all four as well as power stop ceramic pads. The brakes are fantastic. It was a huge upgrade over stock. This is a larger car, so after I purchased it, you know, the brakes were fine. I just wanted a little bit more bite, and I got it. The Brembos, they perform fantastic with the stainless steel lines and fresh fluid. This is the OEM infotainment system. Everything works as it should. AC is nice and cold. It does have XM radio. I never activated it, but if you switch it over, it does let you know that you can order it. The trunk pop. It's the hidden sunroof. Also works exactly as it should, like everything else in the car. The exhaust is completely stock. I'm not a big fan of super loud exhausts. I did consider a catback at one time, but I just never got around to it. So the exhaust is completely stock. And honestly, with the intake and the tune, it's plenty fast. It has all the power I would need for the street. So, since I pumped the trunk, like most G8s, you can see the trunk is massive. Also, like G8s, it does not have a spare tire and jack. It does have the OEM 12-volt pump, as well, or compressor, pump, as well as the can of sealant, which is what all G8s come with. So, and the OEM net. That clicking you heard is the factory system for the gas tank. It does that, it cycles. It's a part of the emission system. So I actually looked it up. I heard that clicking when I got the car. I said, what is this? But it's normal. Runs, revs exactly as it should. Steering wheel controls fully functional. You can cycle through, customize the options. So some cool stuff there. Go ahead and turn the AC off. It's a little cool today. This is a 2009, so it doesn't have what people call the Atari gauges up top. They just put the blank in. This is the Sport. It does have the Sport option. Basic stuff like the Sport wheel. And as well as the OEM 19-inch factory wheels, which I do have, that will come with the car. Obviously, the Yankees look fantastic. Paint overall, it's in great shape. I would give it a 9.5 or a 9 out of 10. For its year, you can tell it's been garage kept. If you look very close, like all used cars, you can find a few scratches here and there or a few blemishes, but overall it really shines. Also worth noting, I did put a new AGM 850 cold cranking amp battery in it. So whenever I got the car, it did have the original battery, believe it or not. It didn't cause any problems or crank slow. I just I wanted to put a new battery in it just because I couldn't believe that the battery was still performing so well, as old as it was, and I didn't want it to leave me sitting somewhere. So I did go ahead and put a new battery in it. Battery's only a few months old. I will shut it down. Ah, yes. So whether the sunroof is vented or open, it will auto close it for you. Sunglass holder. A few things here. The Cortex tuner, or the Super Chips Cortex tuner. So it reads codes and can clear them and do all those things. I've never really needed it, but I keep it with me just in case. I'll start it up. And as you can see, no airbag fault. So it is kind of random. It does kind of not happen for quite a while, and then randomly it'll come up and say you have an airbag fault, and then it doesn't really do anything else after that. So it does have dual zone controls, so you can as you can see, you can adjust the temperature. CD player works. I don't really listen to CDs. I rarely listen to the radio. I just like enjoy driving the car, but everything does work. Nice, and it takes very little effort to close the doors. Most people comment on that with a G8, how solid they feel, and mechanical, which I have to agree. I noticed that from when I first got the car. No lifter noise, no weirdness. It does still have the factory DOD. It's tuned out on the Super Chips. I just turned it off with the controller, which you can obviously change. My goal wasn't really gas mileage with the car, since it's a toy. It's a car for pleasure. Again, it's probably the largest blemish in the paint, which I did get a quote on fixing that spot on the hood for about 500 bucks. I could respray it and blend it, that section. But there she is. Absolutely love the car. It's been fantastic. I think I've gotten more comments on this car than some of my others that I've owned, even my RX-7, believe it or not. But really sharp, drives great. One thing I will note in the ad, I forgot to mention, the Faust paddle shift kit, not currently installed. I do have it. I need a Torx T50 to remove the steering wheel, so I had to order it. Haven't got around to installing it yet. But if you look up John Faust's shift kits, you'll find lots of very, very satisfied customers, and a lot of people really like the the sport feel of being able to shift on your own. It does utilize the Camaro shifters, the paddle shifters, and the quality of his kit's fantastic. And also completely reversible if you ever wanted to remove it. It's not permanent. It just replaces the column, the surround on the wheel. So, and then wires in. It's very, very trick kit the way it works. But there she is. Currently listed at $23,000. So I've put a good bit into the car, but I've also at the same time kept it very tasteful. Thoroughly enjoyed the car, and I just hope it finds an owner that will continue to take care of it as I have. Alright everybody, thanks for your time, thanks for watching, take care.